What exactly is the People's Select Committee?
Okay, so it's a collection of 10 former women members of parliament, fairly representative across the political parties
Yeah.
that they were part of, to hear the evidence and the information that should have been before Parliament when Parliament passed such a substantial piece of legislation, basically without evidence.
So this is the changes to the Equal Pay Act, the Equal Pay amendments that they're doing.
Yes,
Under urgency, bit of cloak and dagger, pre-budget, fairly obvious now because they had to fill a $13 billion gap. And many would say, Marilyn, and happy to get your thoughts on this, a pretty undemocratic process as to what they did to change this, change parts of the law that have been around for in excess of 50 years. Your thoughts?
yes. Well, I'm old enough to be reminded. I remember people like Margaret Wilson in battle for the 1972 equal pay legislation right
Yeah.
back then. And as I started to listen to the debate, if you're an old hand at this, it becomes very obvious really early that there is no evidence behind this. And there's a kind of a hidden part on the Bill's website. I doubt that many people go there because you have to click a number of times.
Mm.
And it's about the evidence that had been adduced before this policy intervention. And I'm just writing about this for the spin off, so I'll go into more detail there.
Sure.
But there's only 3 pieces of research that are listed there. One is a piece that Health New Zealand itself commissioned on the care workers, um, actually on the methodology that was used to arrive at
Mm-hmm.
the care workers' totals. And the people who are writing that report say things like, well, there was no way we had all the written evidence in front of us. There's no way that this is a rigorous report because half, that is, the unions, wouldn't talk to us. There's no way this is a good report because the terms of reference were too tight and
Mm-hmm.
we weren't allowed to report on A, B, or C. So there's that one which has all of this caveats attached, but which marginally, the remnants of it, can then be seen to support this legislation. The other 2 pieces, one is a piece from the Human Rights Commission. It triangulates its researchers. It's extraordinarily rigorous, and it's about the care and support workers. And there is nothing in that piece of research that supports the bill or the act. And then the third piece is a really major piece of work where research was conducted with social workers and their employers before the social workers pay equity um, resolution, and
Mm-hmm.
then afterwards, and all of it, including the employers, supports the process, what they arrived at, the fact that they're not scratching around for employees anymore, people stay, etc. So I don't think, I don't know, it just might be very, very lazy cabinet ministers these days, which I tend to think is, pretty general. But I can't imagine, like, if I was a minister and I was putting through a piece of legislation and half of one of the things that was supposed to be my information base was all that supported it, I would have pretty much scrambled to get rid of the rest or find something. And that gets you into it. Then they're wrong about whether or not it impugns any rights. In New Zealand, they only ask questions about ILO or labour rights. They don't ask about the um, Convention on Discrimination Against Women. As you go through this, really your mouth just falls more and more wide open. And what you see is this whole event. Oh, there's a question that says, who did you consult with?
Yeah.
And the answer actually is no one. Or the answer is only these other government departments. So we just talk to ourselves in a room. Uh, and I'm a researcher of old, over the years, there's many things that parliaments do that, I don't agree with, whatever. But, I do like them to adduce or produce some kind of evidence and to have not treated me like a complete pumpkin.
Yeah.
Well, this time I'm a complete pumpkin. That's what they, and they just go for all the cheap tricks, So the cheap tricks are, comparing a social worker with an air traffic controller, And I taught social workers in the Bachelor of Social Work. It takes 4 years. And I taught social workers in the Masters of Social Work, and it takes 5 or 6 years. Air traffic controllers do less than a year of training, and 4 weeks of that is sitting at home interviewing yourself. They're not required to have any major academic qualification, and pretty much all the skills that they need, like concentration, capacity to find decisions quickly, ability to act on evidence. I've been in and out of the Welsh, British, Australian and New Zealand job descriptions of air traffic controllers. And I can tell you right now, I'd much rather have a social worker as an air traffic controller than an air traffic controller as a social worker.